Now allow me to go to the subject at hand. Our claims are based on first-hand intelligence information and the consequent illegal activities which surrounded the just-ended Lukasha by-election. While in Kasama, I had a knock on my door at the lodge where I was staying, where we have been camped, where we were camped as a team. A leader, a senior member of the Patriotic Front, who is also a committed Christian, came to see me at midnight. He looked worried and uncomfortable. He told me to the face that Patriotic Front, under normal circumstances, stands no chance of winning this election as there is no goodwill on the ground. A decision has therefore been made to rig the election. That's what this Christian senior PF official said. He further indicated that MMD was targeted for humiliation so that our political opponents could use our loss as a license to further destabilize the MMD. He advised that the best thing is to compel the ECZ to postpone the election because the levels of malpractices were too excessive. He advised me to sound the alarm about the pending rigging, a thing which I did the following day on Radio Mano and at our final campaign rally. Number one, he confirmed that the pre-marked ballots had arrived in Kasama. He also confirmed that 4,850 people had been recruited to staff the ballot papers in ballot boxes in all polling stations. Secondly, he confirmed that Milimi was being distributed in the different wards by DMMU, Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit from the office of the Vice President, and that the PF camps were being supplied by taxpayers' money with foodstuffs in their campaign centers. This alone, fellow members of the press, this alone is sufficient ground to nullify the election. Number three, he also provided information on the many GRZ vehicles being used in the campaign, which we had also seen and noticed. We are unable to provide the whole list of malpractices as we know them, because we have sent a team back to Kasama, and I'm going to join them as well, to make sure we comb every bit of evidence that has now been reported to us. We want to make sure it is fully verified before we decide on how to move forward with that information. So we have not given you all the malpractices, because there are many, and we are only going to use them at the appropriate time when we make a decision. The police, for the most part, stood helpless as they watched people being beaten and vehicles being destroyed in broad daylight. You have seen the videos that are going around where the UPND vehicle was being smashed and the police were watching and looking at it. Shortly after that, people were beaten senselessly, some of them almost losing their lives. And the police were aware of this. The ECZ was aware of it. But even with all that, no one was taken to task and the election was not suspended. Further, 2 PF cadres were nabbed by the police during the same time for being in possession of pre-marked ballot papers. When this information reached the senior leaders of the PF, the duo was released from the police. A PF cadre was arrested by the police for taking a picture of his ballot paper using his phone before he cast the vote. When he was interrogated by the police, he stated that the PF leaders were suspecting him that he was going to vote for the opposition and therefore was not going to be given the promised money if he did not provide proof that he had voted for the PF. A vote, and this report is at Kasama Central Station. A vote is a secret matter in a democracy. To intimidate members of the public to vote a certain way based on financial gratification is illegal and enough ground to nullify an election. And it is very scary that we have got to those levels of arrogance. Based on all these and many other irregularities, the ECZ should have suspended this election. It is an illegitimate election, and the outcome is also illegitimate. It's for this reason that the MMD cannot, on moral grounds, congratulate our colleagues in the Patriotic Front on their presumed victory in the last elections. Neither do we agree that the number of votes allocated to MMD are genuine. How can our candidate get 2 votes at his polling station where he voted for himself? His wife was there, his children were there, he's a pastor of the church, and the church members went with him to vote at the polling station, and when they counted the votes, there were 2 votes. What kind of miracle? I believe in miracles, but that kind of miracle is not the miracle that the Zambian people should entertain. 2 votes. Now creating a crisis in the home as to whether the children actually supported him. But I want you to know this did not only happen there. In many, many polling stations, not only MMD, UPND as well, in 6 of them got 0 votes in polling stations. With their agents there, 2 agents each, at least we should get 2, but they over-rigged. And this is what I wanted to say to whosoever rigged this election. You overdid it. You over-rigged. Even those who rigged in the past, they measured the rigging. But you have over-rigged to the extent that even your own people were scared. The man who came to see me at midnight was scared. He said, what we have done is too much. And here we are. He goes to vote with his family and his church members, and he gets 2 votes. And these are the concerns that we have. Our numbers in one ward, when added and reported to us by our agents, we had 1,050 votes added together in a ward. And PF had 400 votes in that ward. And one policeman was chucked from the place because he asked, he said, but MMD here had 1,050 votes. How come they have 3? And he was removed from that place and never went back there. Whether he was taken back to the police station, wherever he was taken back, we do not know. But this is information that came from the police himself. How then can we end up with 114 votes for the whole constituency when in one ward we had hit 1,050? How can we end up with 114? They over-rigged. They overdid it. They should have measured a little bit to make sure that they don't go overboard. But I think they felt that they wanted to do it once and for all and not leave any chance to mistakes. So our verification team is on its way to Kasama to collect all evidence and witnesses to all these malpractices. It is at this point that the party shall decide on the course of action to take, possibly to deal specifically with the ECZ. We must do something with the ECZ before next year's election. We may not be interested in petitioning the candidate himself because we don't have the time, 8 months before the dissolution of parliament, and would like to concentrate on things that matter to our party and preparation for the election. But we know that we are going to use this information to make our case and to ensure that come 2021, we have an equitable system that favors everybody equitably. I wish to state that these are our preliminary findings, and we await the whole report from our verification team. Now allow me to talk about the electoral process very quickly. It is a proven fact that electoral commissions in Africa are the source of conflict and national instability. A few decades ago, coup d'etats were responsible for illegitimate takeovers of governments. The AU, however, addressed this matter adequately, and coups are no longer a fashionable course of action. However, the new juntas of keeping ruling parties in government against the wish of the people are electoral commissions across the continent. The Lukasha case can be called the 2020 ECZ scandal. The fact that against all the malpractices, the ECZ is quiet and gone ahead to authenticate the elections confirms our fears that the ECZ is defunct and impotent. Our concern as a people should therefore be, how do we even think of facing 2021 election under such a regime? Based on these flawed elections, a narrative has been formed in the media that the people of Zambia are in love with the Patriotic Front, and that the UPND is a social media-based party which is absent from the grassroots, while no Zambian wants MMD. That is the narrative that is going on today because of the rigged election results. Those of us who were in Kasama when the election was read out, the results, the PF wanted to celebrate through the Kasama town, but no one was celebrating. Kasama was quiet. Kasama was shocked at what had come out from Lukasha. And the election celebration was only by pockets of the PF people. So this election result and the celebration belongs to the Patriotic Front and not to the people of Zambia. They keep saying the numbers speak because you manipulate numbers. We don't want to hear the voice of numbers. We want to hear the voice of the Zambian people. Let us be able to say the voices of the Zambian people are the ones which should speak and not the numbers that have been manipulated. You can succeed today. You will not succeed tomorrow. I'm MMD. We succeeded for some time, but there came a time when we could not succeed. And life repeats itself. Based on these flawed elections, this narrative makes a new discussion in the nation. The Americans would say that PF are drinking their own Kool-Aid. They make their own drink and drink it. We also wish to announce that we are aware that an IT center has been set up here in Lusaka, which will permanently hack into the ECZ server to manipulate the numbers in the 2021 election. We are following very closely as to how the recruited South African IT guru, whose name I know, shall achieve this goal. The good news is that we know where these facilities are and who is responsible for these facilities. Very expensive investment. And ECZ will be connected to that center in order for them. That is why they have said they want the results to come straight from the polling stations to ECZ. Then they will hack into the ECZ server. They'll be receiving real-time submissions of election results. That those of you that have got a PVT will not have enough time or equipment to counter-check the information as it is coming out on the other side. And we are ready for that. We have got our own IT team that we are going to work with to make sure that we punch into this system and make sure that a free and fair election is made available for Zambians. Fellow countrymen, as a pastor, politician, my heart tells me that we are on a wrong path. Manipulating the electoral process to remain in power is the most evil act anyone can do. This changes the whole reason for an election. It should never be that the most corrupt should win elections, but the most qualified and the most favored by the electorate loses. Very few African countries have this privilege that we have today. Zambia can start afresh and divorce itself from the list of African states which are failed states in as far as the electoral process is concerned. Give Zambians leaders of their choice and see Zambia get united, develop in leaps and bounds. In conclusion, to the members and the sympathizers of MMD, both at home and in the diaspora, don't lose hope. Some people may call us underdogs as MMD as we head towards 2021 election. In August next year, we shall not be the first underdogs to win a contest. History has demonstrated that underdogs have won more contests than those who call themselves front runners. The Bible, which which never lies, assures us with these words, and the last shall be first. When I saw what they did in the manipulation of the votes in Lukasha, I think they wanted to fit in the scripture analysis of the last shall be first. And I want to tell all the Zambian people, all our members across the nation, fear not. Anything that happens to disrupt your journey is not meant to destroy you. We shall make it to the other side, and we shall make it victoriously. Then we jump the rotten ECZ system and elect a president who fears God, and then we will change these systems that have always brought problems for our people. And I'm counting on the church to rise up and recreate the future of this country by giving us a vote as MMD, but more specifically as Nevas Mumba, your brother. I want to thank all of you, members of the press, for coming at short notice. May God bless the New Hope Movement for Multi-Party Democracy, and may God bless the Republic of Zambia. I thank you.